Hello and welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's the Monday night PC League and we are here at Zolder for round number 6, which will mark 2/3 of the season completed. We're going to do 100 minutes around here this evening. My name's Nick and I will be taking you through this evening's proceedings. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all had a great Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. And hope you're ready for some sim racing. It's sort of hoping, isn't it? Anyway, let's crack on. So let's have a look at last week's round winners and class winners. Sorry. So it was the 5th round winner, 5th different winner from 5 different rounds. So Paul Russell finally cracked it and won last week at Paul Ricard. So great job from him. It was a great pitch strategy as well. But yeah, congratulations and a massive well done to Paul Russell, who took out his first Monday night victory. So massive congratulations to him. James back in the number 623 Ferrari. He took out the silver class victory. So Peter Wall and Neil Fakney were 2nd and 3rd. So James finished outright 7th, Peter Wall 8th, and Neil Fakney 9th. The podium for Pro was Denis Strelnikov, who was in 2nd, and Terry Rayton in 3rd. So another strong result for both those drivers. And in the AM class, it was Mark Hurley who took out the class victory. It was Wally Masterson and Herbertron rounding out the podium. So massive congratulations to those drivers. And a 5th different outright winner in 5 rounds. Will it be 6? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to find out in about an hour and a half. Alright, so take us to the championship table. Pretty close, really close at the moment. So Denis Strelnikov sitting there on 343 points, 18 points clear of Andrew Lawrenson at the moment. So Denis took his 4th second place finish in a row last week to lead the championship. Lawrenson in 2nd, Paul Russell sitting there in 3rd. So it's a legitimate 3-way battle right now for the championship. Terry Rayton has thrown his hat in the ring as well, so you can almost say it's a 4-way battle. In 5th, Max Ricker on 248 points. Matt Frost sitting there in 6th on 235. Not far behind him is Michael Easter, who is back this evening, so he'll be looking to add to his points tally. Neil Fakney having a great season. Neil, 222 points in 8th. James Mack, last week's silver class winner in 9th, and last week's AM class winner, and a Collingwood man. I knew I liked Mark Hurley for a reason. Sitting there in 10th on 189 points. In terms of the manufacturers, it's Ferrari still out in the lead there, 874, but not too far ahead now of Porsche, sitting in second on 858. Aston Martin, a fair way off in third on 495. Then BMW not far behind them. And then not far behind again is Lamborghini. And then a bit further down is the road. Down the road is the Audi and the McLaren. And yeah, let's take a quick look at the circuit, shall we? Go. All right, so we're at Zolder. This is, I don't know. This is, I guess it's a kind of indifferent track for a lot of people. It's not one that you would see on a lot of, you know, sort of top 10 lists or anything like that. But still, it's not a bad circuit. It's kind of fun to drive. It's only 11 turns and 4 kilometers in length, so not too far at all. Probably around turn the chicane there at 5 and 6 are probably the hardest turns on the circuit. At the Villeneuve chicane as well, it can get a little bit tricky with braking markers and whatnot around there. So let's take you for a quick look at where we stand. And it was Andrew Lawrenson who took out the fastest time of 128.067. So let's see if he can get any closer than that in qualifying. But we've got a minute to go. Now, it's actually quite a historic date today. So July 17th. What star sign is that? I don't know. Is it still a Cancer? I'm not too sure. But anyway, did you know there's a fun fact about today is that on the 17th of July, 1936, the Spanish Civil War actually began. That's a pretty historic day. What is going on with my mouse here? Uh-oh. Hang on a second. Oops. Just got a little technical issue here. Oh, man. Oh, my mouse is like frozen. Oh, this is not cool. Of all the things. Hang on a second, everyone. Oh, this is... My mouse is like frozen. It's like stuck. Oh no. Ah, this is... I don't even know... I can't move my mouse. Oh man. Just 2 seconds. But we don't want that. I can't move my mouse. Hang on a second, everyone. There we go. We're back. We're back. I have no idea what that was. Anyway, the Cancerian is July 17th. I can certainly relate to Cancerians because I'm a Cancerian as well. But I hear someone else is. And it's a relative of someone who's racing tonight. Last week's race winner, in fact. So, poor Russell. His dad, Terry. It's his birthday today. So, massive happy birthday to Terry. Sorry about that scattered build-up there. But, yeah, it's his birthday today. 87 years young. Happy birthday to Terry and the Russell family. Paul asked me to mention that tonight. So, happy birthday. Hope you've had a great day. 87 years old. That's a fair innings. Hopefully got plenty more years left in you. And, yes, happy birthday from me. And I think I can speak on behalf of everyone at Roos as well. Happy birthday. 3 minutes of qualifying is gone. Michael Easter has set the fastest time so far, a 1:27.8. Terry Rayton has just joined him there on the front row to get this one started. Tom McDonald will be coming through to set a lap as well. Let's see what he can do here. As Strelnikov, Ricker, Huddy setting times. Bridgens coming across the line. Who else do we have? Matt Frost will be the next one. A few more coming through. Neil Fakney, the silver class driver. Yeah, 87. That's a fair innings. I'm still trying to work out what happened to my mouse earlier. But anyway, so here's Neil Fakney. He's had a good season so far. Had a couple of class victories. Last time out at Imola. Not last week, but the week before. Let's see what he can come up with here. Good enough for P7. It's a good time to get things started. Here's Herbertron in the Ferrari. As he comes through the final turn. Let's ride with him as he crosses the line. Hey, P12. Good job from Herbertron there. Here's Peter Hatfield. He's yet to set a time. 21 cars in the field this evening as well. It's a pretty good turnout. 100 minutes after work on a Monday night. Not always the easiest. As Hatfield, one of the last cars to set flying time. He goes up into P8, so good start from him. Who else is out there? Andrew Lawrenson, he's backed out of that. Bridgens will be another one to cross the line. But so far it's Michael Easter. Car 717. It's a Porsche 1-2 right now with Lawrenson, Rayton, Reed. James Pierre Reed is back, everyone. He's back from his overseas holiday. He is back with us this evening in the Audi this season as well. So a bit of a change from the Merc as Stockton crosses the line. Doesn't improve on his time. James Mack, P15. What about Paul Russell? Let us know what did Paul get for his dad for his birthday as he moves up into P8. That'll be interesting to see. Mark Hurley, last week's AM class winner in the Ferrari, making his way through the final corner. Dashes to the line, improves on his time, goes up into P13. Herbertron just crossed the line. Who else is out there? Easter and Rayton are on hot laps. Pierre Reed's in the pits. Ricker and Strelnikov are on laps, but they're all invalid at the moment, so that's why I'm not on them. We'll stick with Adrian Rice for now, but I'm tracking Andrew Lawrenson out there as well. I'll get to him just in a moment. As Rice crosses the line in 17th. Here's Lawrenson, as promised. Final chicane. Big snap of those here just unsettled the car ever so slightly. This will be good enough for pole position. It is. There we go. Andrew Lawrenson takes P1 for now. Still got just a tick over 8 minutes remaining. John Stockton. He crosses the line. What about James Mack? Currently sitting 19th. He's not going to improve on his time. Paul Russell. He's almost 4/10 up. That'd be good enough to crack another couple of spots up the ladder. Only one into 8th position. Andrew Lawrenson going again. Michael Easter is down on his best time. Mark Hurley's out there, almost finished, but he's down. Who else is on a flying lap? We'll stick with Andrew Lawrenson for now. And the Laundry House livery car sliding through the Villeneuve chicane and through the right-hander of turn 8. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of that turn number 9. It's a famous Belgian driver names though. He's still 0.07 of a second up on his best time. Easter's out there. He's almost 0.3 behind Lawrenson not going to improve his time. So despite that little bit of slipping and sliding, Andrew Lawrenson betters his time. Goes to a 1:27.560. Here's Nando Latenzio, who's going to beat his best time, but it's not good enough to move up a position. What about James Mack? He's 4/10 up. Where can he move? Into P15. Nice work from him. Bertrand setting another time. Might tick over to Michael Easter. Got a new livery this evening. He was rocking the plain white livery for the first few races of this season. So he is now... I wonder if that's in homage to the... I think Porsche has kind of similar livery at the Festival of Speed this past weekend. James Pierre Reid could have stayed around in Europe for that one. Got cancelled on the Saturday, unfortunately. High winds were forecast, and Michael Easter needs a win behind him because he's not going to improve on his time. What about our championship leader, Denis Strelnikov? Crazy Fly Racing. He's going to improve on his best time. Goes up onto the second row of the grid in P3. So good work from Denis Strelnikov, our championship leader. Is carrying a fair bit of ballast this evening as well, which I will get to later on in the broadcast. I'll bring you all up to date. Here's Paul Russell. Russell coming through the final turn. He's got to improve only ever so slightly, not enough. Oh yeah, to move up one position into P7 by the slimmest of margins. That Michael Easter is gone again, so the gap is 3/10. We've got less than 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. Setting the grid for round number 6. We're going to do 100 minutes of Zolder. And then we're going to have a week's break. And then we're going to be back for what I would think would be the best 3 circuits in the game on the trot to finish off season number 2 for 2023. Can you believe we're in July already? Mid-July. It's pretty... The year is disappearing. 0.2 of a second up on his best time, so he does improve, but not enough to take the top spot away from Andrew Lawrenson. He's out there on a hot lap, but is down on his best time. Terry Rayton, we haven't seen much of Terry this evening. There he is behind Paul Russell. As we see, last week's race winner, he's 0.3 up on his best time, 1:28.507. Oh, Paul Russell didn't get his dad anything for his birthday. What do you really need when you're 87 though? Like, you've had 86 other birthdays. Just becomes being around your family at that stage, doesn't it? 3.5 up on his best time. This will be good enough for the second row of the grid. Yeah, it is. P4, Paul Russell, good job. Last week's race winner in good form. Michael Easter, he's 0.3 up on his best time, so that would be good enough for pole position. Getting to the pointy end of this session, just to tick over 3 minutes, about 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. Still 2.5 up, so still tracking to take pole position. We've got 3 Porsches and 2 Ferraris in the top 5, 3 Ferraris in the top 10, a couple of Audis, a BMW and a McLaren. There it is, Michael Easter goes P1 in the dying stages of this one, so less than 3 minutes remaining. Neil Fagney trying to improve on P13. Michael Easter is going to come back to the pits. Andrew Lawrenson's out there, marginally improving on his time. Strelnikov is down by a second. Paul Russell's coming in for a cool-down lap. Terry Rayton is down by a 1/10.5. Pierre Reid's just getting set for a flying lap. So everyone just in the final preparations to finish off this qualifying session. Neil Fagney. Sorry, who am I on here? I'm on Andrew Lawrenson. Sorry, my mistake. He's dead even with his time, so he's not improving, but he's not falling behind. Got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him, but that shouldn't cause him any dramas. He's on track to marginally improve his time, but it's not really going to be enough. He's up by, he made up about a tenth there, but lost it all on the exit of the corner, and it's going to be basically a dead even time of what he'd already done. So he's got another minute 44 to go to put in another time, get this sorted. Max Ricker sitting in P7. He's a couple of tenths up on his best time. That'd be good enough to move him up onto the third row of the grid. Currently sitting P7. That was a bit of a rough entry and exit, and he's lost all the time there. So he was tracking to improve, but that all evaporated in one corner basically. Here's Matt Frost. That's a big launch across the chicane there. It'll be very, very interesting to see how they all file through there this evening. Is he invalidated his lap? No, Frost still validated. Here's Frost looking to improve on his time. Currently P8 in the 666 Audi. Just a couple of tenths up. That might be good enough for third row of the grid. If he can hold that margin, and he does, this is going to be a pretty good time from him. There we go, P6. Nice work from Matt Frost. Andrew Lawrenson, he is not going to improve on his lap, so he's got one more shot at it. Michael Easter, he's cruising in the pit, so he's fine. He's all set. He's happy with his time. Strelnikov isn't making up enough ground. He's 6.5 tenths back. Ferrari not liking it at the moment. Terry Rayton, he's out there trying to improve on his time. So, and then Frost and Reed are both in the pit. So, Lawrenson, really the only car out there that can possibly challenge for pole position. He's down by fairway. He's aborted that lap. And then Strelnikov, he has invalidated this lap as well. So that is going to be all she wrote. Terry Rayton will be one of the last handful of cars left out on circuit. Good enough for P5 right now. Is it about 1.5 tenths away from the second row of the grid. So Paul Russell will be watching on nervously here, tracking Rayton's progress. And right now he looks poised to move his Ferrari from P5 to P4, dropping last week's race winner from the second to the third row of the grid. Oh no, he lost a bunch of time in the final turn there, and not good enough. So Terry Rayton will start in P5. Oh, McDonald right at the very end there took away P5, so that was kind of out of nowhere. What about Nando Latenzio? He's neither improving or declining. So congratulations, Michael Easter. He's back with a bang. I see Tucker Gaming in there cheering him on. So Michael Easter, he is taking pole position. Congratulations to him. A 1:27.380 was not faster than the time in practice. So interesting to see. In terms of silver class, Adrian Rice is the head of the silver class, 10th outright and leader in class. And then the AM, Mark Hurley, continues his very, very strong season after last week's class win. He is in 13th outright and leader in class. So there you go. That is the grid for round number 6. 6 of 9 of season 2 of 2023 for the Race on Oz Monday Night PC League. We're just a tick over 3 minutes away from getting the 100 minutes of Zolder done. So in that time, I'll just take 2 of those, get myself all sorted, and we'll be back very, very shortly. So just hold tight for 2 minutes. Be back soon. All right, we're back. So, just under a minute before we kick off. Just give you a reminder of the ballast. So, Michael Easter, does he have ballast? Pretty sure he does. 5 kg he has in ballast. So, Lawrenson, 10 kilos of ballast. Strelnikov, he's the league leader in ballast, 17 kilos. In fact, Paul Russell has 9 kilos. Terry Rayton has 7. James Mack and Neil Fakeney both have 6 kilos. And then Wally Masterson has 3 kilos of ballast. So if you're unsure about the ballast, so ballast is designed as a bit of a parity measure. And to keep things relatively even. Hang on a second. Get back over here. Alright. Yeah, just as a parity measure, which has worked out fantastically well because so far this season we've had 5 races and we've had 5 different race winners, which is a big difference from last year where Andrew Lawrenson really dominated the season. And yeah, that domination, as good as the driving was first class, didn't make for the greatest racing. So, and it wasn't a direct relation to Andrew Lawrenson, it was just more to try and even up the field a little bit. And it's proved to be quite the incentive, the initiative as well. And has really provided some awesome racing this season. 5 different rounds, 5 different race winners. So I think the results certainly speak for themselves as we're just making our way through the field. Nando Latanzio coming through as they're all weaving, getting those tyres up to pressure, temperature in the brakes, steeling themselves for an hour and 40 minutes around Zolder. It's going to be quite the handful as well because this track doesn't really have any long straights of any nature really. It's a circuit that comes at you all the time, so you don't really get much relief. So it's going to be concentration will be imperative this evening, as it is any other race. Just looking at some cars at the rear of the field. Paul Huddy, John Stockton in the Fire and Ice Ferrari, James Bridgens in there as well, Herbtron with the Red Rebel Racing livery on the Lamborghini, and then Dylan Powell just bringing up the rear in P21, 21 of 21. Alright, kind of digging this livery as well. Porsche, all Porsche front row. A Ferrari and another Porsche, so 3 Porsches in the top 4. As they make their way through the final turn, we'll head on the straight. We're going to wait for the signal. Isn't that a glorious sight? All side by side, lined up. Once they hit that line, we'll get the signal. We're going to get 100 minutes. There it is. Looks like the 2 Porsches at the front got a good jump. Easter comes across to take the racing line. All filtering through. Russell and Strelnikov as we search down through the field. And looks like everyone managed to get through without any drama. Strelnikov has some contact in there. Oh, he's hit Pierre Reed. Almost goes all the way around. Oh, that's Fakeney going off in the background. Oh, almost collected another car. Herbertron, I think, might have made a little bit of contact with him as well. But that was... let's just have a quick look and see if we can pick it up. Where is Strelnikov? There he is. So he's coming through now. That's Max Ricker in front of him. And I think this was after the fact, so I don't think I've caught it. Yeah, that was Neil Fakeney as we get back to live pictures. So it's Easter leading from Lawrenson. They've got a nice little break here. Tom McDonald is in third. Looks like Latenzio puts a move on Peter Wall as well. So Tom McDonald in third. Looks like he's got some battle scars on the front of his car right now. Terry Rayton tucked in behind him. Matt Frost rounding out the top 5. Then you've got Rika Strelnikov has dropped back a few spots. Pierre Reed dropped back a spot or 2. And Adrian Rice looks like he's had a pretty decent start as well, as they're all filing through the final couple of turns of this one to complete lap number 1. It's not the laps that we're counting, it's the minutes, all 100 of them this evening. We're about a minute 40 in, but it's Easter trying to open up the gap to Andrew Lawrenson. As mentioned, Lawrenson has 10 kilos of ballast. Michael Easter only has the 5 kilos, so he will have a bit of an advantage in terms of that. And there you go, you can see the gap between first and second, and then a little gap to third position there. Terry Rayton trying to put the move on Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald, who started in P5, so he's already moved up a couple of spots. Terry Rayton started in 6th spot. He's moved up a couple. Strelnikov, he's dropped from third to 7th. So not a great start for our championship leader. 777 Ferrari. What happened to Paul? Paul Russell. Where is Paul Russell? Oh, he's all the way. Oh, look at that. So he's been hit from behind. I reckon that might have been what happened in the beginning. So as you can see there's plenty of witness marks on the back of that Ferrari, and I reckon that might have been Strelnikov who caused those marks on the opening couple of turns there. He might have got pushed forward, so I'm not saying that he did anything intentional there, just part of the race. But unfortunately, last week's race winner from Chocolates to Boiled Lollies, Paul Russell, down in P19. So he's dropped a whole bunch of spots, 15 in fact. So he's got a long way to come back from now. Terry Rayton going to put the move on Tom McDonald here. Oh, they make contact! And he's flicked into the wall there. Strelnikov had to take evasive action. Let's see how that one came about. So here you go. He's looking to go around the outside. And then, just ran out of room slightly. And, yeah, that's Tom McDonald. Unfortunate for him. So we move Rayton into P3. And out in front, these are the 2 leaders. So Michael Easter and Andrew Lawrenson, a bit of a race of their own right now. They're 6 seconds up the road from Terry Rayton as we watch Lawrenson just go a little bit deep there into the final turn. So they're out in front. Let's have a look at some of the action a little bit further back. This is Rayton and Rika. That's Strelnikov in there as well. James Pierre Reed, who was involved in that little kerfuffle at the beginning of the race. Adrian Rice tucked in behind him. A little bit further back, Mark Hurley, the leader of the AM class, 15th outright, but leader in class. That's Paul Huddy just looking to put a move on James Mack, the last round silver class winner. It'll be a good little scrap between those two. Adrian Rice leading the silver class at the moment. And there he is tucked in behind James Pierre Reed, who's racing in the Audi this season after racing in the Merc last season. Gap out in front between Lawrenson and Easter is at 0.6 of a second right now. You can see the gap between the two there. Lapping very, very similar lap times already. So Lawrenson with the ballast of 10 kilos compared to Michael Easter's 5 kilos. So that's the battle between first and second. A little bit further back in the pack in P9 is Adrian Rice and Nando Latenzio. So Rice the silver class leader in the very, very early stages of this one. Still have all 21 cars running. Mark Early, what happened, Mark Early? Let's have a look. Oh, and just went around at the chicane. Just caught the very tail end of it. And he gets going. So he was leading the AM class, but unfortunate for him, he's dropped all the way down into P21 as Bridgens and Powell swap positions. So Bridgens moves up into P17. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Lawrenson has closed that gap up on Easter. It's back to 0.4 of a second. So Easter on that previous lap did a 28.355, but it was invalid. Easter did a 28.722. Sorry, so fastest lap of the race. Lawrenson did a 28.355, but it was invalid for Lawrenson on that last lap around. So 10 kilos of ballast to Lawrenson, 5 kilos to Easter. That will make a little bit of a difference, but these two have left the whole pack behind. They're 6.7 seconds up the road. So it's just a race of two right now. Let's have a little bit further back. What's happened to Dylan Powell? Looks like he's got them going again. This is Latanzio. He's hunting down Adrian Rice in the 756 McLaren. And I'll monitor the action just at the front of the pack still. So Lawrenson tucked in behind Easter. Last lap. Oh, throwing the Porsche through turn number 5. The Klein chicane. Goes down the hill. Right under brakes. You can run all the way over those curves. It doesn't have an effect on the car like it does at the Klein chicane previous. Got a little kink through here. Go through the final chicane. Finish off the lap. Let's see what their times come out in. So 28.625 was Easter's previous lap. 28.7 to a 28.6. Andrew Lawrenson, currently the hunter, looking to work his way past Michael Easter. So two class drivers here. And then sort of having a quick look through the rest of the field. Well, actually, I'll stay with that through the long turn 4. Here we go again up to the Klein chicane. Let's see how adventurous they both are this time around. That does it easy. Takes a slightly different line. Takes a tighter line through there than Easter. So both in the same machinery. And the back end of that Porsche has been pretty tail happy the whole season for Andrew Lawrenson. So I'm not too sure if that's how he just prefers to have the car set up, or if that's just been a sort of a quirk this season. But I've seen that happen a lot over the previous 5 weeks, 6 weeks including today. And then the rest of the field is starting to string out a little bit further now, so gaps starting to open up. So Lawrenson and Easter are a mile in front of Rayton. They're almost 8 seconds down the road. Frost is just over 1.5 seconds behind Rayton. Strelnikov not too far behind him. There you go, you can see all three of them. And there's Max Ricker. So that's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And then James Pierre Reid and Adrian Rice. So it gives you an idea on the gap between these two and everyone else in the rest of the field. They're a couple of corners ahead as Easter this time Goes a little bit quicker than Lawrenson on the previous lap. There's Rayton in the background. And this will be great stuff to watch. Like I said, two real class drivers. Poor old Paul Russell. He's slowly making his way up through the field. He sits in 15th position right now. Strelnikov as well. He's in the Ferrari. So he's got Matt Frost ahead of him. Last lap around, Frost did a 29.6. Strelnikov did a 29 flat. So got the pace advantage in the Ferrari, does Strelnikov, the 777. As you can see, making up some ground under brakes. The drag race now up the short straight. See what he can do as we see Rayton in the foreground, Pierre Reid just weaving a little bit in the background with Rice, Latanzio and McDonald. So that rounds out your top 10. And a bit of a stalemate right now out in front. Both drivers lapping very, very similar in pace. 28.782 to Easter that previous lap. 28.697. So less than a tenth in pace difference on the previous lap to the better of Lawrenson, who is the chaser. Oh, that Ferrari. Man, these guys are pushing hard through the Klein chicane. Mark Hurley and Herbitron, they both swap positions. So currently the AM class is Bridgens, Hurley and Atron in in first, second and third in class. Dylan Powell rounds out the top 4 there. Only 4 AM drivers in the race this evening. Back to the battle out in front. Lawrenson and Easter. We'll see what sort of pace they're doing this time around. Lawrenson with the lights ablaze. Oh, there's 3/1000ths of a second the difference in lap times then on that previous lap. So these guys going legitimately punch for punch right now. Almost nothing separating them. 3/1000ths of a second the difference. And these guys in a class of their own, lapping about half a second faster than the closest car, which is Terry Rayton. And he's no slouch. He has been a race winner this season as well. The round before last. Oh, I am expecting to see a car go flying through the Klein chicane at some stage tonight with the way these guys are attacking it. It's the Ferrari of Dennis Strelnikov. So he's continuing to hunt down Frost. Frost had a 4/10 difference in lap time to the betterment of him on the previous lap. So these two going blow for blow. Matt Frost, very seasoned campaigner, the familiar 666 number. Often see him in a Ferrari, but this season decided to run in an Audi. And he's doing a great job right now. He sits 6th in the championship. Hasn't had a podium as of yet. Best result of 4th in the second round. And right now he is in 4th, so he's equal best finish of the season. Came in round number 2. Long way to go in this one though before he can bring that home. Barely scratched the surface of the first 100 minutes. Zolder, as mentioned, it'll be a long night for a lot of these drivers. This is a circuit. It's only 4 kilometres in length, 11 turns, especially through here, through turn 4. Sorry, turn 3, and then you go through turn 4. Let's see what Strelnikov can do this lap around. Look how hard he's hitting those curves, man. So he's got a lot of confidence in his car right now, Dennis Strelnikov. He's our championship leader as well, so he does have pedigree. He's also carrying 17 kilos of ballast. So Perhaps that might be helping out a little bit there through the Klein chicane. As the battle out in front is very, very similar to this. So Lawrenson and Easter. That previous lap, the gap was a bit bigger. It was only 3/100ths of a second instead of 3/1000s. What is it this time around? A 28.717, a 28.667 to Lawrenson. So slightly faster, ever so slightly though. These two having a great battle out in front, a race of their own. This is back a little bit further in the field, so 8th, 9th and 10th, Rice, Lattanzio and McDonald. They're chasing James Pierre Reid. Couldn't quite get his livery sorted this evening, so apologies to him. Paul Russell makes up some ground there. Let's go have a look on the replay, how that came about. Oh, James Mack just ran a little bit wide there. And Paul Russell said, thank you very much. I will take that spot away from you. And he does. So he moves up into P13, last week's race winner, after being all the way back at the rear of the field. That's some good action going on right here with Reid, Rice, Lattanzio and McDonald. Big number 2 on the side of the door of the Aston Martin, belonging to Nando. See some people cheering on. He's got quite the following, doesn't he, Michael Easter? Plenty of people cheering him on in the chat. Right now, he leads Andrew Lawrenson by 0.6 of a second. He's locked in a great duel right now with Andrew Lawrenson, our reigning defending champion. Michael Easter, a former Race on Oz champion. So we've got 2 class guys out in front, which is awesome to see. Got a nice battle brewing here as well for 9th. For 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. That's Pierre Reid, Rice, Lattanzio and McDonald. A very tightly bunched foursome of cars. That's Hatfield a little bit further back there. Hatfield started in P12, so he's only moved up 1 spot. One of the biggest gainers so far in this race. Brayton up 3, Frost up 3, Ricker up 3, Peter Wall is up 3, and then only just position changes of 1 or 2 spots for the rest of the guys. And bar Paul Russell, Tom McDonald started 5th, so he's currently sits in 10th in the yellow Ferrari, you can see on the screen. And then Mark Hurley, as we saw, he had that little spin at the chicane, so he's dropped 6 spots from his original starting position of P13, but he's still 2nd in class and plenty of time left in this one to make up more ground. A couple of tenths faster on that previous lap was Michael Easter. They both crossed the line for another lap. Just give you a bit of a cider of here they are. They're not gone anywhere. They're now 10.5 seconds down the road from P3. So Terry Rayton. Oh, Matt Frost. What happened, Matt Frost? Hey. Let's see what happened here. So this is coming down the front straight into turn 1. Frost is in front. Oh, he's just hit the curb there. That's really easy to do at that part of the circuit. Upset the car. Didn't hit anything and didn't go around. So that was best case scenario for him. He's lost a couple of spots. So Max Ricker was the beneficiary of that as Paul Russell makes up another spot. So he continues his climb up the field. He is now in possession of P12. He's 6 seconds down the road from Peter Hatfield. But yeah, Matt Frost, that was best case scenario for him. He's managed to get away with it. And yeah, great, good save from him as Lawrenson inches ever closer to the rear of the 717 Ferrari belonging to Michael Easter. In game time is 4:54. So we are going to see some nice sunset. Nice sunset pictures. Nothing really particularly different about the pitch strategy this evening. So it's a time multiplier of 2. So that's why I'm getting excited about that. We're going to see some sunset pitches. And then you've got the mandatory pit stop. That's the pit rules. Ambient temperature set to 18. Cloud level of 0.222. Rain set to 0.15. And weather randomness set to 4. Gives you a bit of an idea of the conditions. Definitely no rain on the forecast right now, but who's to say we won't see some a little bit later with the weather randomness set to 4. And Andrew Lawrenson continues to try and pressurise Michael Easter, who's not put a foot wrong. He's maintained that sort of half a second gap as it is right now. And yeah, continues to hold off Andrew Lawrenson. So great battle between these two drivers brewing. A little bit further in the pack, we've got another little scrap between James Mack and Paul Huddy. So this is for a scrap for P3 in silver class. Lap times very similar between the Audi and the Ferrari. And then a little bit further along, Nando Latanzio, 0.05 of a second faster on that previous lap than Adrian Rice. That green and what colour would you call that at the front? Like almost like a fluorescent olive. He's trying to make his way past the McLaren belonging to Adrian Rice, who, fair to say, has had a pretty decent season after he missed the first couple of races. Be enjoying himself. The old music racer. Take a shot from the Helican. Cars running, so we've lost one. Who that is, I don't know. Sorry. Go on board with Latanzio. There. Enjoying the sound of that V8. Just the gap between Lawrenson and Easter has just eked out ever so slightly. Now it's 0.7 of a second between the two. Last lap around, Lawrenson might have made a mistake because Easter lapped a 1:28.732 and Lawrenson did a 29.290, so about a half a second faster on that previous lap. Maybe Lawrenson just made a little mistake somewhere because he was lapping almost identical lap times to Easter, so we'll see what it is next time they cross the line. Actually no, Lawrenson was faster at 28. This is 29, so it's Easter. I'm not too sure what's going on there. So we're watching Adrian Rice, Latanzio looking to go around the outside. Oh, Tom McDonald just trying to get a little bit of a piece of it here too. We go to Hallicam. They're going to go side by side. Oh, and Tom McDonald sends it up the inside. Very opportunistic move. And nice work from him. Nice and clean down the inside of Latanzio. And he takes that position away. So I think Nando thought he might have been onto something there. And unfortunately, the tables were turned. And he loses the spot to Tom McDonald, who just pulls it up in time. Villeneuve chicane. Where's Matt Frost? He continues to sit behind Max Ricker, so he's made up some ground after his little early scrap with Strelnikov. Came undone just at turn one, just clipped the inside curb there. It was enough to upset the car and got away relatively unscathed. And yep, definitely doesn't make that mistake this time. Oh, McDonald and Rice. McDonald looking racy right now. It's just rearing up on the back of the McLaren. Making up ground. And that's Pierre Reid as well, so this is off the position. And that's Nando Latanzio. He's having a go now too, so it's all on right here for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. They're a little bit further back down the road from Matt Frost, so he's immune from all of this. He's in his own scrap with Max Ricker. He's having a pretty solid race right now. So he started in 9th position, currently P5. So great race from him so far. He's definitely taken advantage of some little bit of chaos ahead of him. As we're not too far away from a third race distance. It'll be very interesting to see what the pit stop strategy is. I assume there'll be a bit of fuel saving going on. And this is Frost and Ricker. Now the battle out in front for the lead. Michael Easter has stretched it out. He's at 1.3 seconds the gap between him and Andrew Lawrenson in the number 992. Huddy getting the move done on James Mack. Let's go back and have a look at that. So there's Mack. And then Huddy down the inside. A little bit of contact. That's just a bit of Rubbins racing. And off he goes. So nice work to Paul Huddy down there in 14th position. In the meantime, Matt Frost continues to hassle Max Ricker in the BMW. Looks like he's got a few witness marks himself there on the back. That Audi handling the inside curb without any dramas whatsoever. Going to tuck into the slipstream. He's on fuel map number 1. So no fuel saving at this stage from Matt Frost. What about Adrian Rice now? He's all over the back of James Pierre Reid, who lapped at a 1 minute 30.520 on the previous lap. Adrian Rice was 3/10 of a second faster. We're on board with him now. Fuel map 1 as well. McDonald in the background. So we've got a 4-car battle right now between Reed, Rice, McDonald and Latanzio. And that's Peter Hatfield just in the back there. He's like the little kid who wants to hang out with the big kids, you know. Oh, don't forget me, don't forget me. Trying to catch up to him. Where is he? Is he coming there? Oh, no, he's not back. Oh, right. McDonald. I got it right in the end. Gap just closed back up again between Easter and Lawrenson. 7/10 of a second. Just watch how this plays out into turn 1. We'll get back to them. 29.172 previous lap to Easter. 28.637. So the gap was just starting to float out past a second. And then Lawrenson has just reeled it back in to be 6/10. Right now is Rice all over the back of Pierre Reed. Pierre Reed, oh, it was 3/1000th of a second in lap time. The difference, advantage to Adrian Rice. Look at these guys going at it, hammer and tong. There's been some great action between these guys already. I'll just give you a quick little update here. Here's the race leader. So I don't want to completely ignore this battle, but they've been within a second of each other for just about the whole time they've been racing. They're 13.5 seconds away from Terry Rate, so they've got a massive gap, and they're in an absolute race of their own right now, these two. 29 flat to Easter that lap around, 28.8 to Lawrenson, so a couple of tenths faster on that previous lap, so I'll continue to monitor that. But right now we've got this little scrap going on here between Reed, Rice, McDonald, Latanzio, and it's all for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. It's providing us some real entertainment here. In the meantime, Frost is less than half a second behind. McDonald having a look down the inside in the number 11, that bright yellow 11 Ferrari. Latanzio will just be sitting back, biding his time. Lawrenson's closed the gap up to 4/10 of a second. So he continues to press Easter, our race leader, who's been there for the majority of this one. Almost the entirety, I would say. Where's Paul Russell? Paul Russell's moved up into P12 now. 2.5 seconds away from Peter Hatfield, lapping about 7/10 of a second a lap. Trying to spat it out. Oh, Rice just gets a little bit untidy there. Back end just stepping out momentarily. Does that open it up for McDonald to have a lunge down the inside? No, it doesn't. Oh, maybe it does. Oh, so it's going to be a side-by-side drag race. This is starting to get very willing between these two. The gap between Lawrenson and Easter, 3/10 of a second now. Just want to stay with these guys. Ah, McDonald pushing extremely hard, almost too hard in fact. He wants to get away past Adrian Rice. He's got no time to hang around. Just get out of the way. I'm coming through. Just a quick flick over to these two. This is the gap still, so maintaining at 4/10. That's what 4/10 of a second looks like between our race leader and P number 2, our reigning champion, Andrew Lawrenson. In the meantime, these four are continuing to provide some quality entertainment in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Matt Frost just losing a little bit of ground to Max Rickenau, almost at a second the gap between the 666 Audi and the number 27 BMW. And the gap now back down to 4/10 of a second, 3/10, just ping-ponging around between 3 and 4/10 of a second between Lawrenson and Easter. And Lawrenson continues to lap faster, 2/10 of a second faster on that previous lap in fact, as we switch over to them. Lawrence has done a fantastic job to be driving almost this close the entire race. All 26 and a little bit minutes. Still have a long way to go though. I knew I'd miss it. Latanzio gets the job done. Let's go and have a look on the replay. Oh, so Tom McDonald just made a mistake there at the final chicane. And that was opening up the door nicely. Fernando Latanzio, who is happy to sweep through. And he takes P9 away from McDonald. So it looked like his patience was starting to run out. And I think he pushed it a little bit too hard there. So McDonald will have to continue to give chase to Nando Latanzio. In the meantime, though, have a look at these guys. 0.2 of a second, last lap around. It was advantage Lawrenson by 0.2. What's it going to be this time? Comes through the final turn, makes his way along the straight. We inch closer to third race distance. Oh, what has happened here? We've lost one. Oh, let's look at McDonald. Got a nice picture over here. Adrian Rice. What happened here? So Rice has dropped back a handful of spots. So he was ahead, and then Latanzio has gotten through. So something's happened between these four where Reed was leading them, and then it was Rice, and Rice going into the pits. Does he have damage? I can't see anything on the front. I'm not too sure what happened. What happens as soon as you step away from it, something happens. Paul Russell was making up a lot of ground on Hatfield. That last lap around though, he lapped 3 seconds slower. So it's at 5 seconds between Russell and Hatfield. So Russell slowly clawing his way back, but had a little setback on that previous lap. So Latanzio now the owner of 7th position. Then Pierre Reed. So he's dropped down 1. Tom McDonald's moved up 1, and then Adrian Rice made his way into the pits. Oh! I thought I saw McDonald go off there. Let's just see what happened there. Let's go on board with him. This is on the replay. Oh, evasive action. Had to be taken there. So just missed his braking marker. And no good from him. So he's lost a bunch of ground now. You can see Pierre Reed just up ahead. In the meantime, Frost, he continues to hound the rear wing of the BMW belonging to Max Ricker. Audi versus BMW. Ricker 29.960. Frost 29.347. So just proving to be a bit difficult to pass on this circuit. Not many opportunities around here. As I mentioned, there's no real sort of main straights to make up ground. Hence why we've had the race leader Michael Easter being able to maintain a lead over Andrew Lawrenson. As we cut away to him now. And then a little scrap between Reed and McDonald and Tenzio. So we've gone over 30 minutes, 31 in fact have passed. So good to do a little recap of the race. So the two drivers that started in P1 and P2, Michael Easter and Andrew Lawrenson, they've both remained in P1 and P2 for the entirety so far of this race. And we've got Terry Rayton sitting in third, Strodnikov and Lawrenson pitting. Alright, I thought there might have been an issue there, but there isn't. So Andrew Lawrenson in the pits. Michael Easter continuing on. And just having a look at Adrian Rice pitted not that long ago. 1 minute and 7 seconds was the entirety of the pit stop. He was stationary for 32 seconds. And Andrew Lawrenson makes his stop. So that releases Easter, no more pressure on the back of his car. And Frost doing the opposite right now. We can see Lawrenson there just on the right hand side. Saw him for a second. Lawrenson's still in the pits. There he goes. He's off now. Let's see what Easter does. If he decides to respond. Off he goes. That was Lawrenson. That's Rice, who's recently pitted. I think that's lap traffic because he's sitting in P21. Let's these two guys come through. Ricker and Frost, and good driving there from Adrian Rice. Just doing the right thing, getting out of the way. And make it nice and smooth for these guys to go through. Latanzio! What's happened, Nando? Oh, there he is. Oh, I was trying to find him. Let's go have a look on the replay. Halicam might give us a better option. Oh, I said it. I said we'd see a driver come unstuck through there. And Nando Latanzio, unfortunate for him, he was the driver that it happened to. And we're back to live action. Oh, Frost got past Ricker as well. Let's see what happened here. I think we might be at the tail end of it. Yeah, I think we are. So he got the move done before then. That's Adrian Rice, but that's not for position. So while we're watching that other replay, and then Michael Easter is now in the pits. So we want to go to Andrew Lawrenson. Andrew Lawrenson was 1 minute 6 in the pits. Where's Easter? Easter's still in there. He drops. Lawrenson coming through. Easter continuing. Lawrenson coming through. I think Michael Easter's going to be able to do this. Here's Lawrenson coming through. And there you can see there's Michael Easter. And if anything, he's extended his gap. It'll be slightly vulnerable for a few turns, but that gap is a lot bigger than what it was when Andrew Lawrenson originally went into the pits. So that's at almost 2 seconds, a minute, 1.6 seconds, the difference between Easter and Lawrenson. So pit stops out of the way, and it's advantage Easter. He's all set. He's still got 55 minutes to go though, so plenty of time left. Almost a full sprint race time. We've already done 35 minutes, so these guys well in the groove. And Andrew Lawrenson has it all to do. Tom McDonald is trying to do it. He's all over the back of James Pierre-Reid. These two have been going at it for a few laps now. Peter Wall making his way out of the pits so he completes his mandatory stop. Russell gets another position, so Peter Hatfield in the pits. As we go back to these two squabbling over P5 and P6 right now. we're in the stage here of pit stops are more than likely going to start happening as I think Hatfield makes his way away he goes, and then Herbertron making his entry to the pits, and then back to these two, so the gap just closed up slightly. There's that 7/10 of a second last lap around a 29 flat to Andrew Lawrenson, and James Pierre-Reid and McDonald has made his way into the pits, so he's making his stop. That will allow Pierre-Reid to continue on. He's got a little bit of some battle scars there on the rear of that Audi, which means this man on screen is currently our race leader, Terry Rayton, previous round winner, one of 5 different race winners. Are we going to make it a 6th in a row? That would be an astonishing effort. Almost as astonishing as having your 87th birthday today. It's a big birthday. So back to these two. Now that's the Tenzio up ahead. He hasn't pitted yet. So these guys have. So the Tenzio is definitely within his right to fight for position. Doesn't have to give it up, but they're not in his race. So we'll see what he decides to do. As Easter going to send it down the inside. Gets that move done very nicely. Lawrenson trying to go with him. Latenzio is not obliged to let these drivers through. This is for position, but they're not in his race, and ends up doing the right thing. So Nando allows him to just get on with his race as well. He's currently in P9. He's got Paul Huddy 5.5 seconds behind him, and he had been battling it out with Reed and who else? Frost and all them, and McDonald that we saw earlier. So plenty of pit stops still to come. Be interesting to see if we can see fuel map 8. There you see, just on the top left hand of the dash there, that's where it says Porsche. To the left of that it says race 2, and then with the green outline, map number 8, which means that is a fuel saving map, hence why these guys could pit earlier than the rest of them and still make it through to the end of the race, because they're able to conserve their fuel and run at a faster rate, even though they're on a reduced engine capacity. And then you see Easter as well, he's fuel map number 8 as well. So both these guys, the same strategy. What's the THR? Yeah, same as his. Yeah. So there you go, a little insight there as Terry Rayton, he's in the pits now. Max Ricker, he's now in possession of P2. P3. Matt Frost is in P2, and Denis Strelnikov in the 777 Ferrari, our championship leader, is a current race leader. But all 3 cars in the front are yet to pit. Having a look at pit stops, yeah, Easter and Lawrenson exactly the same. So 1:06 total pit stop time and 32 seconds stop time. So no advantage gained or lost in the pit stops. And we're not too far away from the halfway mark, in fact. So we're going to be on the other side of it very, very shortly. We'll be able to do a bit more of a race recap as Strelnikov, our race leader, he makes his way into the pits. Looks like I could see a flash of Max Ricker. Yes, I could. So he's making his way into the pits now as well. So Matt Frost, 666 Audi Viper 23 Racing, in the lead of the race. I think he races in VR as well. Dip my toe in the VR world this weekend. Quite the new experience. So Matt Frost doing it pretty well right now, but he needs to pit as Ricker is in there. Strelnikov is getting out of there now. Paul Russell he's just entering while Strelnikov is going. Ricker, I would imagine, would be in there for too much longer, and the gap right now is back to almost what it was pre-pit stop. So Andrew Lawrenson wasn't able to get the jump. Oh, having a look there as well. So Lawrenson's patience perhaps starting to wear a little thin after being behind the Porsche of Michael Easter this entire race. They started P1 and 2, and that's where they find themselves on the circuit right now, with 2.5 minutes away from the halfway mark. No, we're over the halfway mark, sorry. It was an hour and 40, so we'd be at 50. Yeah, anyway, my maths is not working right now. Yeah, we're way over the halfway mark. We're over that before, 50 minutes. Sorry. Trying to do like 3 or 4 different things at once here. And maths has never been my strong suit. Here's McDonald. He's all over the back of Hatfield. Hatfield has pitted, so is McDonald. So this is a scrap 4 position. James Pierre Reid in the pit says we're watching McDonald absolutely send it in the Klein chicane. We've seen plenty of others do that already in the first half of this race. Just the sun glistening now off the cars at 6 p.m. in game time. Track's still optimum, 19 degrees air temperature, 21 degrees track temperature. No sign of any weather whatsoever, which is always a good sign. As a driver, you want that. As a spectator, you don't mind it mixing it up, but you're not the one out there driving in it. So when you are the one driving in it, you prefer it just to be nice and dry for as long as it can and enjoy those conditions, and that's what these guys are doing. Time is at a ×2 multiplier as well, so as it goes on later and later, we'll see if that track temperature does drop and affect the grip of the circuit. As we cut over to Andrew Lawrenson, pushing extremely hard out of the final chicane. Looks like they've just put a lap on James Mack there, who is running down there in P17. Nearly all cars have made their pit stops as well, so we're just waiting on Frost, Lattanzio, Huddy, Stockton and Fakeney, and that will be the entire field done. Strelnikov moves up into P7 as Stockton is making his way into the pits. So one of the Ferraris there making his way into the pits. Rayton and Strelnikov, McDonald, and then Mack, Hurley and Bridges. Plenty of Ferraris in this field. Audis and Porsches and BMWs. And Aston Martin thrown in there. Mercedes. So we've got a nice little spread. As Lawrenson and Easter, they've been tied together the entire time. And I think we're set for a grandstand finish here. Still a fair way away from that, but keeps tracking the way that it is, we should be in for a cracking finish to round number 6. Then we'll take a little week's break, give everyone a chance to rest and reset, and then we'll go into the final 3 weeks of the season, which is some great circuits. I think it's Silverstone, Suzuka and Bathurst. As Matt Frost, he's in the pits. So that means Michael Easter is now back in the race lead, where he has been for pretty much the entirety of this one. Lattanzio making his way into the pits as well. So the last few drivers coming into the pits. This is Paul Huddy as well. So Frost, Latanzio and Frost is off and going. Huddy making their way in as we get back to the battle out front. It's Michael Easter all over the back of Andrew. Sorry, it's Andrew Lawrenson all over the back of Michael Easter. Paul Russell, after that's all shaken out, he is now in P12 after the pit stops. Still has Fakeney up ahead. And I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to take any of the cars in the pits. Yeah, there's Neil Fakeney. As I cut away at a very inappropriate time. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to get late now, almost 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Lots of people's bedtimes. Not mine, thankfully. Last lap, 28.660 to Easter. 28.472 to Lawrenson. So a couple of tenths advantage, Lawrenson. We go on board. Some traffic up ahead, I think that's Huddy, maybe? Yeah, it is. The number 41. You just smash those cabs. Kind of free pass. Up the hill. It's not a bad little circuit to race at, to be fair. It's not the most popular. It's never going to win any popularity contests. But it goes alright for what it is. And boom. And then another one. Look at that Porsche. Just absolutely planted. Not going anywhere. And yep, that is Huddy. So he will be obliged to get out of the way. He'll have the blue flags waving. You can see that just on the left hand side, one of the marshals. .11 PM in game time. Looks like Easter's got the lights on now as well. We give Huddy a bit of a flash on the way through. He's got the lights on too. Marshall, good work. That's good driving. Very intelligent driving from Huddy there. Oh no, not so intelligent from Lawrenson though. Let's have a look at that. We'll go on board with him. How did that look on board? Oh, I reckon he might have just missed his braking marker ever so slightly and went in a lot hotter there. And the line wasn't quite what he was used to. And that can just sometimes happen. Can break your concentration. Huddy did nothing wrong there though. Absolutely nothing wrong. Did everything right, in fact. And sometimes it just can be what happens. So that does give Easter a little bit of a reprieve here, a little bit of breathing space, which he's not had a lot of, but he's soaked up all the pressure beautifully from Lawrenson so far in this race. Been a great battle between two really, really high class drivers. It's been great to watch, and I dare say Lawrenson will probably close that gap up again. It's just now eked out to 1.4 seconds, and a result of that was, yeah, that last lap Lawrenson was a second slower than Easter on that trip around. So he'll gather back up again as he's pushing extremely hard. That's Peter Wall in the Aston Martin getting the blue flag. So another seasoned campaigner, or I dare say will get out of the way at the most opportune time that he can do. Coming around the left-hander of 6 into 7 and 8. Easter just getting the rears there on the grass. And Peter Wall just leading the race leader through there. And I dare say he will do the exact same thing for Lawrenson. There he does. And good work from Peter Wall. Great driving. Didn't hold either of them up at all. So nice work from him. The gap is already back under a second between Easter and Lawrenson. Easter does a 29.347. Lawrenson does a 28.802. So half a second faster on that previous lap. Lawrenson will look to get that gap down to less than half a second as what it was before that little mistake. In the meantime, John Stockton in the Fire and Ice Ferrari. He's tucked in behind Neil Fakeney, who's running a little bit lower than what he normally is. So he's down there in P16. He's finished lower than that only once this season. That was round number 2. He finished 18th. The next 3 rounds after that were 8, 5 and 9, and it contained a couple of class victories in there as well. So he is currently P7 in class. That's actually last. So Neil Fakeney not having a great run of it this evening. After a couple of class victories, he's quite a ways off that right now. Actually, he's not last. He's second last. John Stockton is last in class and 17th outright. Hurley is first in class. He's 18th. 19th is Bridgens. 20th is Herbertron. So the bottom 3 spots belong to the 3 AM drivers. So that's the podium for them. And then Adrian Rice, as mentioned, as Stockton sends it up the inside, out breaks himself, goes a little bit too deep, runs it onto the grass. And that's Terry Rayton coming through. And Lynn thinks Stockton's going to get out of the way. Yeah, he does. And away he goes. So, a mistake there from John Stockton. About Mark Hurley. Yeah, so he's now rearing up on the back of Fakeney, who, yeah, not enjoying the Zolder track with the Lamborghini. Donkey, I hear Michael is really handsome in real life. Is he? Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so I'm going to take your word for it. As Hurley got past Fakeney nicely there, as we're discussing whether Michael Easter is attractive in real life or not. I'll tell you what is attractive, his position. It's P1. Fakeney having a go back now at Mark Hurley. This is all for position, 16th to 17th position. Rear of the field, but positions nonetheless. There's points to be had. Still 35 minutes and change left in this one, so almost half a sprint race distance. Stockton now sending it up the inside. Nice little dive there, and it's going to be Ferrari versus Lamborghini drag race up the back straight into the final chicane, and it is the Ferrari winning and taking P17. Now, in the meantime, amongst all of that, this is the view from the rear of Michael Easter. And the car that you can see there is Andrew Lawrenson. And if you were to measure that in time, it's about 1.5 seconds. So last lap around, Easter was 4/10 faster on that last lap than Andrew Lawrenson. So pulled a nice little gap on him. It's 1.6 seconds the difference. And this is, why didn't you do that? It was going to be so good. Anyway, Max Ricker is only 0.4 of a second ahead of Matt Frost. So these two have been engaged in a battle for probably good 15, 20 minutes, half an hour tops. And Ricker doing a great job of holding off Frost.
Ricker started in 9th position. Is now currently in 5th. And then Frost, he started in 7th, now in 6th. So he's only moved up 1 spot. Ricker up 4. Russell slowly crawling his way back, now in 9th position. He started in 4th. And yeah, after being dead last at the beginning, he has made up plenty of ground. Now sitting in the top 10 in 9th position, 3.3 seconds. There he is. Away. Did lap 0.6 of a second faster, slower though, than Adrian Rice on that previous lap. So he certainly has his work cut out for him. And the remaining almost 33 minutes of this one as we go back to the battle between Ricker and Frost. And the battle for the lead. Right, that's Peter Hatfield. Almost went up to 2 seconds there. Hatfield will be getting the blue flags here. You see him on the left. Gets out of the way. Nice work from him. And he lets the 2 race leaders through. So 1.5 seconds the gap between Easter and Frost. Easter does a 29.112. Lawrenson does a 28.985. So advantage Lawrenson on that previous lap. But the gap, there you can see 1.5 seconds right now with where it sits. As we see the wind farm working in the background. Big solar panels there on the right hand side. So it is a legitimate wind farm at the circuit. This is Frost back with him and Ricker now. They continue to battle it out. 6:30 p.m. in game time. Time multiplier of 2. We're going to get some nice sunset shots. To end this one. Been a pretty good race so far. Hour and 10 minutes into it, just about. Another 31 to go, but plenty of action at the beginning. Bit of a hectic start. But really the story of the race has been Michael Easter and Andrew Lawrenson, who've been on a league of their own. And they've been able to just battle it out. Mono in mono. Ricker just sending the BMW over the ripper strip there. Max Ricker, where are you in the championship? He's P5 in the championship. So his rookie season in Ruse, and he's P5. Best finishing position of 4th, which was round 1, and he's had 2 5th positions. So in there he's had a 13th and a 20th, so it's kind of been a bit up and down, but more up than down, which is good. And yeah, finds himself in P5, and as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Matt Frost is 6th in the championship. So his last outing was his worst outing of the season, 14th. And he has a 4th as well, coming in round number 2. So these 2 drivers very evenly matched in terms of the championship, only 13 points separating them. Similar results. Matt Frost has missed a race though. Didn't start the race before. But yeah, these guys out on track find themselves close just as they do in the championship. And 1.6 seconds now, the gap. 0.3 faster on that previous lap was Easter over Lawrenson. So they're trading faster times against each other at this stage. A little bit further back. Neil Fateney just not having a good time of it. Don't think the Lamborghini is really to the liking here because there's only 2 Lamborghinis in the field. One is in 18th and one is in 20th of 20. So not liking the Zolder circuit. Can I please go back to watching Michael winning? I'm just trying to... I'll keep flicking it back to Michael winning. He's in P1 right now. It's 1.6 seconds the gap. I'll do you one better actually. I'll give you a little treat. How's that? Hang on a second. Where are we? Here you go. Here's a full lap of Michael Easter winning. Alright, how good was that? A whole lap of Michael Easter winning. And got 26 minutes to go before he can take the checkered flag and make it official. The gap at 1.4 seconds. Back to the little scrap now between Frost and Ricker. That's at 3/10. We go on board with the Audi. Oh, look at this! That's Easter and Lawrenson making contact. Let's go to the replay and see what happened here. So did Easter make a mistake? I think he might have. That opened up the gap for Lawrenson. They make a little bit of contact. He goes on the grass, shoots across the chicane, keeps it facing the right way, pulls it up, and we're back to live action. We're almost going to make contact again. So what was Michael Easter with a 1.4 second gap all of a sudden turns into contact between the two and fighting it out for the lead. We're getting to the business end of this one and things are certainly picking up right now. Lawrenson and Easter, they've been stuck like this for a long time. Perhaps the patience of Lawrenson is just about worn out, getting sick and tired of sitting behind the Porsche wing of Michael Easter in front of him. And that was super exciting stuff with what being fairly mundane period of time between the two. And Lawrenson just stepping it up a gear. I think Easter might have made a mistake in there as well. And that was enough for Lawrenson to at least have a go. They made contact. Easter did a great job pulling it up. Hit the gravel trap at the absolute opportune time there. Managed to save the car from spinning, and which would have been a really disappointing end to what has been an absolutely epic battle between these two. Just after we gave him a wrap as well. We kept him on the onboard for a whole entire lap, and that's what happened in the end. 25-minute penalty? No, I would think not. This is Frost and Ricker. So these two still continuing to battle it out for a top 5 finish. So this is going to go all the way to the end. Huddy going to put a move on Peter Wall. That's a little bit further back in the field in 13th and 14th between those two. And then Paul Russell and James Pierre Reid as well. So they're building a nice little scrap right now in 8th and 9th. So Paul Russell clawing his way all the way back up to P9 after dropping back to 21st and last in the opening stages of this one. It seems like a fair way away now, as we are not far away from ticking over to the final 20 minutes left in this one. Last week's race winner, Paul Russell, certainly not going to be a repeat race winner this week. And back to the battle out front between these two, as it has been for just about the entirety of this one. Easter didn't pit first. It was Lawrenson who made the first pit stop. And then Easter followed suit, but managed to pull out that gap on Lawrenson, and then Lawrenson's reeled it back in, and then we saw what we saw earlier with these two. With I think Easter had made a mistake along the way, and then opened up the opportunity for Lawrenson. Almost ended in tears for both drivers, but thankfully he didn't. And we continue on. Almost 7 p.m. in game time, so the shadows starting to become a little longer. Still plenty of sunshine out there, but it's not going to last for too much longer. Track temperature now down to 19 degrees. Plenty of sunshine right there. Air temperature 18 degrees. Track conditions optimum, as they have been for almost the entirety of this race. So no issues with the conditions. Weather will not play a factor. It's going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. And are we going to see our first time, for the first time this season, further smiles. The whole audience of 7 people in the Discord solely here to watch Michael. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Why haven't each of you left a like as Pierre Reid gets the move done? Russell gets the move done on Pierre Reid. Yeah, he made a mistake through there, and Paul Russell was able to take that position away, so he moves up into P8 right now. Here's Matt Frost. So he continues to sit behind the BMW, as he has done for quite a while, with him and Max Ricker. Back to the battle out in front, 7/10 of a second the gap. There we go. That's some nice. Thanks, everyone. That's nice. Alright, so half a second. Final 20 minutes at this one. And we've got battles for position in P1 and P2. As it has been for, as I mentioned, almost the entirety. 5th and 6th are still up for grabs. So is 10th and 11th. Adrian Rice leading the silver class. AM class being led by Michael Hurley. These two down in front. Last lap around, 28.907 to Michael Easter at 28.887. Hatfield. Oh no, that's a big hit. Let's have a look at how he got there. He's by himself. And what happens here? Oh, he just got on the grass there and bang into the wall. That was a relatively big hit there as we go back to live action. Watching P1 and P2 continue to battle it out. Plenty of close cars out on circuit. One of them is this man here, Tom McDonald. Making up ground on the Audi of Pierre Reid. Wonder if he's got an issue there or just struggling with the late race feel of his car. We've got Lawrence and Easter just behind them. So this is going to be very, very interesting because they've got some lap traffic coming up. And they've got about 4 or 5 cars up ahead of them. There you go, there's 3 of the cars. This is going to be super interesting. Less than 18 minutes left. Hatfield, what's happened to him? Has he gone into the pits? It's just like, he's lost a whole bunch of positions, so he's got that damaged car. So there we go, they've cleared the Tanzio. So that's 1. And have a few more still to go. Drive through, car number 17. That's Peter Wall. For track limits, so that can be an issue around here. He's cut the corner a few too many times. That's Pierre Reid getting out of the way, so doing the right thing there. And he and Latenzio are in a battle for position. Frost as well, still all over the back of Max Ricker. But we'll keep our eyes on this scrap right here. And Easter, so 28.967 to Easter, a 29 flat to Andrew Lawrenson. And Lawrenson, got a great launch out of that last corner and just manages to pull it up. Let's have a look. Let's go on board with him here. I think Easter just didn't get the right run out of there, and then, so close. Well, back to live pictures now. There we go, back on board. Lawrenson has led for almost the entirety of this one. He's got less than 16 minutes left out of 100 to see if he can get this done. A few more cars up ahead. That's McDonald and Russell, so that's 8th and 9th. So it gives you an idea on the sort of pace that these guys have got. Easter running a little bit wide out of turn 2 into turn 3. Lawrenson going down the inside. They're going to go side by side. He's going to get a good run up here through turn 4. And if he can squeeze ahead, he does. And we've got a change for the lead. So Michael Easter has led almost the entirety of this one. Reid and Latenzio have come together somewhere on the circuit. And we have a new race leader with a tick over 15 minutes left. Michael Easter has led for 75 minutes in this race, and with 15 minutes left, he has relinquished the lead to Andrew Lawrenson, our reigning champion, who sat behind him for 75 minutes in this one, and is now in the lead with clean air. Is Michael Easter just struggling with his car? He did a 29.595 on the previous lap, a 29.2 to Andrew Lawrenson. And now, as we look from the rear of Lawrenson, we see Michael Easter. It's his turn now to observe the rear wing of a Porsche. Unfortunately, he's doing it at the worst time of the race. Only 14 and a half minutes left. And that's the gap between P1 and P2. Wonder what happened with Pierre Reid and Latenzio. I saw yellow against their names, but our eyes were glued to the action in front. And now can Easter find a way past Lawrenson? We've gone past 7 p.m. in game time. Truck temperature 18 degrees, matching the air temperature. Puff of dust coming up from the car in front. I think that's Tom McDonald in the yellow Ferrari. There's Paul Russell as well that he's chasing down. That's P8 and P9. But these two guys are coming up behind. Easter just getting a little bit ragged coming out of the Klein chicane. Easter on that last lap did a 30.312. Lawrenson did a 29.7. What's happened? James Pierre Reed. He's had some sort of issue. Let's see what happened. That's Latenzio behind him. And Latenzio would know what that feels like because he did that earlier on. And this time it was James Pierre Reed's turn to go around. So he's down there in P11. So the gap that last lap around was 0.6 advantage to Lawrenson. We'll see what it is on this lap with less than 13 minutes remaining. As they cross the line, Lawrenson, it's identical lap times at 1:29.347. Identical lap times on that previous lap. So literally nothing separating these two right now. Michael Easter, who led for 75 minutes in this race, has 12.5 minutes to come up with a way to get past Andrew Lawrenson, who continues to extend that gap almost out to 0.7 of a second. Still has the Ferrari and the Porsche of Tom McDonald and Paul Russell up ahead. Lights ablaze, sun starting to set. Still plenty of natural light left in this one. But the curtain is starting to close. Less than a quarter hour of racing left. They've been going at 1.5 minutes lap time. So probably about another 7 or 8 laps left at this stage. 58 is how many they've done. But as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we do more counting the minutes rather than the laps. Plenty of action in the chat now, cheering on Michael Easter, doing everything they can to give him a little bit of extra speed. But he's getting a taste of his own medicine at the moment, unfortunately for him, having to sit behind the rear wing of Lawrenson. It's been a long time between drinks as well for Andrew Lawrenson. So last time he won a race was round number 2. So that was quite a while ago now. If you include the break in there, that's about 4 or 5 weeks, which was the masterclass at, where were we? I think it was Indianapolis from memory, which was a cracking race. Their way through the Klein chicane, so he'll be eager to get to the top step of the podium once again, where he was many times last season, and now just having to deal with Tom McDonald, who's had the blue flags waved at him. As you see there on the left hand side of the screen, ducks out of the way, lets the 2 leaders through. He does his part there. As these guys continue on their battle. They've got Adrian Rice and looks like Neil Fakeney up there ahead as well. So a little bit of traffic still to contend with in the closing stages. Easter all over the back of Lawrenson now, working at the wheel. Having a look up the inside, ducks to the outside. Follows him through turn 1. Lawrenson drifts it wide. This is great stuff. Now it's Lawrenson's turn to soak up the pressure. This is where we saw the overtake happen a few laps ago for the first change of lead since the race started. Oh, that's a big, that looks like a big slide from Easter. I think it was. We go to the replay. Let's go on board with him here. Watch this. Oh, look at that. Drifting. Wow. Great car control. Looked awesome, but not great for the lap times, unfortunately, for Easter. 0.7 of a second, the gap between these two. He went 3.5 tenths faster on that previous lap over Lawrenson, but that slipping and sliding will not do him any good at all in his chase to try and claim victory here. Less than 10 minutes to go now. 8 minutes 40 seconds left. Andrew Lawrenson holds an 8-10 second gap over Michael Easter, who led for 75 minutes to this one. And since then, Andrew Lawrenson has been in P1. Easter's done so much hard work. He's already a race winner once before out at Imola. Only a few races to go. Didn't race last week. He followed up his race win with a P4. And he was looking on track to take out race victory here as he continues to slide through. Let's see if there's any more drifting through this part of the circuit. No, there isn't. You wouldn't want it to be either. At a second, the gap now between Lawrenson and Easter. Lap times did reflect it as well. 29.265 to Lawrenson, a minute 30 flat to Michael Easter, and the gap now over a second. Has not been this big a lead for a long, long time. It's the biggest lead Lawrenson's had, as Fakeney just getting out of the way of Easter. Had to take evasive action, and once again that back end of the number 717 just sliding out. Perhaps those tyres just starting to cry mercy. Saw that in the beginning with Andrew Lawrenson. His back end wanted to step out. This time it's Michael Easter, and that's just opening up the gap further and further. 1.4 seconds now. 1.5 as they come through to complete another lap. Adrian Rice will be getting the blue flags. You'll see Easter coming through, pulls to the side. Good driving from Adrian Rice, and he lets Easter slip through. A 28.912 to Lawrenson, a 29.352 to Easter. The gap now 1.4 seconds between Lawrenson and Easter in P2. Terry Rayton in a very lonely P3 at the moment, 24 seconds back from these guys, and 17 seconds up the road from our championship leader, Denis Strelnikov, who's just cruising along there in P4. Max Ricker still holding down P5 right now. He's got Matt Frost tucked in behind him, where he's been for quite a while now, 0.4 of a second the gap, so Frost not able to work away past Ricker. He's been behind him for a good 45 minutes almost now, so he'll be getting pretty sick of watching the rear wing of the 27 BMW. In the meantime though, Lawrenson continues to hold the gap, 1.3 seconds. Easter sliding again. Those tyres right at the end of their life at this stage of the race. Less than 6 minutes to go. Sun continues to set. Temperatures continue to drop. 17 degrees air temperature matches the track temperature. Still at optimum conditions though, so perhaps maybe the change in temperature was around 21 degrees earlier, and not really sitting very well with the 992 Porsche belonging to, the 717 Porsche. In saying that though, he goes faster that lap, a 28.867 compared to a 28.925, so he pulls out a 10th. He's going to need more than that though, as we're entering the final 5 minutes to this one. This is round number 6, 100 minutes of Zolder, and is coming down to the wire. We've gone 95 minutes of racing, and P1 and P2 are separated by 1.5 seconds is the gap. You would think that's not very much, but that's actually been pretty big in the context of this one, given that these two have been generally within sort of half a second to 0.8 of a second the majority of this one. Now at a second plus, and Lawrenson looking to take his first win since round number 2. It'll be the first time that we've had a repeat race winner in the opening 6 rounds of the season. East is going to have to pull something out here. Lawrenson, we know the class of him. He's the reigning defending champion. And still the support in the chat continues to come from Michael Easter. 1.3 seconds now, the gap. Just been hovering there for the majority of this lap. Probably think there'd be only maybe 3 laps left. Crossing the line with 4 minutes to go, just a tick under. and a 1 minute 29 flat to Lawrence, and a 1:29.115 to Easter. So he lost a 10th on that lap to Lawrence. This is not a time to be losing lap time, and I think that, let's have a look at that, the back end of the Porsche belonging to Easter, just not behaving in the way that he wants it to, just looking a little bit loose at the late stages of this one when you do not want it to be that way. Frost still hasn't worked away past Ricker. Tom McDonald closing up on Adrian Rice, our silver class leader. Mark Hurley continues to lead the AM class in 15th outright. Bridgens and Atron, the only 3 AM drivers, so everyone gets a podium today if you're an AM driver. Silver class, it's Rice, Huddy and Mack for the podium, so that'll spice up their championship aspirations as well a little bit. And championship leader Denis Strelnikov down there in P4 right now, so this will have an effect on the championship lead. Lawrenson only 18 points behind Denis Strelnikov at the moment, coming into the final third of the season. Every point is going to be crucial. This time, Lawrenson, he does a 28.922. Michael Easter at 28.970, so continues just to leak time to Lawrenson. The gap, 1.5 seconds. Probably got 2 laps left, one more after this one. And that's what Michael Easter has ahead of him right now. That's the difference between him and a race victory. But I somehow think those tyres are done, and his chances now of taking a race victory solely lie with Andrew Lawrenson making a pretty big mistake in the last lap and a half. And if I was a betting man, I would not be betting on that right now. It is quite unfortunate though, because Easter did all the hard yards, 75 minutes of this race, put him on pole position, led for the entirety of it. Had that little mistake that almost cost him the lead earlier when Lawrenson sent it at the chicane there, the Villeneuve chicane up the back. And then it all happened about 15 minutes ago when Lawrenson was able to get past, and there he is in the lead coming towards the end of this lap, which will be the final lap of the race. So we're just on a minute left. We'll get the signal once he crosses the line. There it is. Leaders on the final lap. 11 turns, 4 kilometres between victory and this man here on screen, Andrew Lawrenson. It's been a real race of patience for him. He had the masterclass in round number 2 at Indianapolis with the pit stop strategy. He had to sit behind Easter for 75 minutes of this one. Tried to jump him in the pits, didn't quite work. Had the big go at him not that long ago, didn't quite pay off. Bided his time a little bit longer, remained patient, was able to race in the toe of Easter, and now he's a handful of turns away from taking race victory in his second of the season, our first repeat race winner. And I've got to say, Andrew Lawrenson, this has been another class drive from him. Take absolutely nothing away from Michael Easter. He did all the hard work. You can say he did all the donkey work for Lawrenson to swoop in that last final 15 minutes. I reckon it was just the tyres ended up going on Easter, and it's proven too much as Andrew Lawrenson comes up to the final turn for the last time tonight. Andrew Lawrenson is going to take home round victory number 6. What a great drive from our reigning champion as he crosses the line, takes the checkered flag. Andrew Lawrenson, race winner. Congratulations to him. Michael Easter, an unfortunate P2 for him, a case of what could have been. He put it on pole position, led for 75 minutes to this one, but just unfortunately couldn't quite bring it home despite all the support in the chat. Couldn't quite get the race victory. Terry Rayton is going to come home in a very well-deserved P3. That's his second P3 in a row. Congratulations to him. His third podium of the season. And here's Dennis Strelnikov. So some valuable points for our championship leader. His closest rival, Andrew Lawrenson, has won today, so that might see a change in the championship standings as Strelnikov crosses the line in P4. Here's Max Ricker, so he's equal best finish. His fourth is his best. 2 fifths in a row. Matt Frost comes home in 6th. Adrian Rice takes home the silver class winner and 7th outright. Congratulations to him. Tom McDonald 8th. Paul Russell ended up being in P9. Latenzio 10th. James Pierre Reid claims 11th. 12th is Huddy, Mack, Hatfield, Hurley, Wall, Bridge and Stockton, Fakeney and A-Tron. Mark Hurley is our AM class winner. All AM drivers get a podium today, but Andrew Lawrenson's already left the lobby. He is all done, but here's our race winner. Whew, that was a cracker. That was 100 minutes of great racing between Easter and Lawrenson and amongst the rest of the field as well, but unfortunately there could only be one winner, and that belonged to Andrew Lawrenson, Michael Easter and Terry Rayton. That rounds out our podium. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Adrian Rice on the silver class victory, and Mark Hurley takes back-to-back class victories as well, so congratulations to him. Alright, that is everything. So that concludes broadcast for today. It's 11:15. It's pretty late, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Had some new names in there as well, but plenty of support for Michael Easter, so appreciate you all watching along, giving the likes. Happy birthday to Paul Russell's dad Terry as well, and everyone else too. So thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks where we will resume the season. So we're going to take a week's break. We won't be here next week, but the week after we will be back. So in the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of each other. My name's